The Wall Street Journal, meanwhile, this morning has some new reporting on that fraying relationship between two of the world's most powerful men, maybe the world's two most powerful men. According to that reporting, President Trump is losing patience with Elon Musk's outbursts over the last couple of days over this bill. A senior White House official said Trump was not happy about Musk's decision to lambast his signature legislation, describing the president as confused as to why the Tesla chief executive decided to ratchet up his criticism after working so closely with the president for 4 months. The official said senior Trump advisors were caught off guard by Trump's latest offensive. The piece continues, quote, Congressman Thomas Massie, one of the two House Republicans who voted against the bill in the House last month, was pleased Musk is speaking out. I figured he would eventually get there, said Massie, who noted the two have not spoken on the issue. You don't land rockets backwards or get cars to drive themselves by ignoring the people who are lying to you. End quote. Let's bring in Bloomberg columnist and senior writer for The Dispatch, David Drucker, and NBC News congressional correspondent, Julie Sirkin. Good morning to you both. Julie, let's talk about that back and forth on Capitol Hill. We just heard Speaker Johnson doing his best to say that Elon Musk is wrong about this bill, despite all the data we've just talked about, despite what the CBO has come out and said about adding $2.4 trillion to the debt over a decade. Where does this play out from here? You have conservatives, Republicans who are trying to please effectively Donald Trump on the one hand and Elon Musk on the other.
Well, I don't think unless Elon Musk, Willie, promises to fund challengers, primary challengers, or even Democrats, which is a concern for Republicans in the White House, that Republicans on the Hill are going to pay attention to him, at least the ones who want to pass this bill, right? I think that's the distinction here, because I think what Elon Musk illustrated yesterday, or helped us understand, was the Republicans who are going to vote for this no matter what and are just making noise, like Senator Josh Hawley, who has a big issue with the Medicaid cuts and reforms because he, of course, represents a rural constituency in Missouri, or Senator Rand Paul, Senator Rand Johnson, who have been talking about the deficit and are echoing perhaps what Elon Musk has been saying online. For Josh Hawley, for example, yesterday he told me this is Donald Trump's administration. Trump drives the train. He does not think that Elon Musk is going to have influence to kill this bill. But one very important through line in all of this is, yes, it's about the deficit. Yes, Elon Musk, of course, helped the president run a campaign that was all about cutting the debt. And now this bill, as you point out, will add to it. But it's also about the electric vehicle tax credits that were removed as a part of this bill. That's very important for Elon Musk and his business. In fact, a couple of months ago, he said he doesn't need those tax credits because his business was doing so well. Of course, now that's not the case for Tesla. And we have new reporting that Elon Musk actually spent the last few weeks trying to lobby Speaker Mike Johnson, who is the only member of leadership, Republican leadership, that he has that kind of relationship where he can call and text, to keep those credits alive, to not put them in this bill. By the way, another thing in this bill, people who drive electric vehicles are now going to have to start contributing to the Highway Trust Fund. So a lot of changes made in this legislation that would hurt Elon Musk's bottom line. And a lot of people I'm talking to think that's exactly why he's making noise right now.
Well, and David Drucker, of course, also the NASA administrator issue came up there. So no doubt there are a lot of reasons for the bottom line for Elon Musk for him to be upset right now. And perhaps that has something to do with all of this. Perhaps it has a lot to do with all of this. But I'm just curious, in your reporting, I forgive me for being naive here. This bill, if this were put in front of us by Newt Gingrich or anybody else as speaker, we would have laughed it off the floor. And the last thing, you would want would be for somebody supporting this bill to do what Donald Trump did yesterday and say, oh, I agree with Elizabeth Warren. We should get rid of the debt ceiling forever. And we go, aha, okay, there you go. There's your evidence, right? But I'm incapable of understanding how somebody who calls himself a fiscal conservative could vote for this bill. The size of it would be a deal killer in the first place. The added $2.4 trillion in debt on top of $20 trillion in the next 10 years, on top of $37 trillion. I mean, I could go on and on about this. But David, is there I don't understand why there's not a level of unease from a lot of people that I served with that are still there to pass what looks like to me the most fiscally irresponsible bill in American history.
Yeah, well, listen, Joe, as you know, lawmakers don't like to push boulders uphill. They only like, excuse me, they only like to push them downhill. And the people you served with are now in a Republican Party where populists are ascendant and fiscal conservatives, really the traditional conservative that we like to think of from the Reagan era, is a minority within the coalition. And so there just isn't a lot of support for the kind of fiscal restraint that used to sort of characterize the Republican Party, at least philosophically.
But David, are there not 4 or 5 in the House? And this isn't even fiscal restraint. This is just like not jumping off a cliff fiscally.
Yeah, well,
there
I mean,
4 or 5 conservative Republicans left in the House that say no to this?
Well, yeah, but it's not saying no to this. It's saying no to President Donald Trump. And their voters trust Trump more than they trust them. So as long as Trump wants this bill is likely to pass one way or the other. Now, I've talked to Republican strategists about this, and this is the point I want to make, is that Republicans, with their thin majorities in the House and Senate, really aren't doing much else. Every ounce of energy they have, most of the legislation that they might pass, is all rolled up into this reconciliation package. That includes a lot of the tax cuts for middle and lower class voters that the president campaigned on. It also includes a lot of the border security components that are broadly popular that he campaigned on. And so if this thing collapses, the entire Trump agenda collapses, that which he can't do by executive order, and the entire congressional Republican agenda collapses. They risk going to the voters empty-handed next year, and that's a recipe for disaster. One other thing here, and Republicans have told me that if they were to start from scratch and do this in a way that wasn't going to add to the debt, that would require actual normal legislating, and they'd have to negotiate with Democrats, at least in the Senate, where Democrats can filibuster. And the Republican base would look at that as a complete failure and be really, really upset that they weren't just plowing this stuff through. So there are a lot of political considerations that are, not surprisingly, are looming larger in the minds of these Republicans than the fiscal considerations, because no voter, finally here, no voters beating on their door complaining about the debt. They're just not.
Yeah, well, they will be. They will be. Willie, it's amazing that one of the arguments for not going back and doing this right is you would have to actually go through regular order. You would have to actually go to committees. You would actually have to start at subcommittees, go to committees, go to the House floor, instead of the House Speaker and 1 or 2 other people writing this bill behind closed doors that nobody sees, nobody reads, and after it's out there, you have members being shocked going, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was in there. That's what happens when you say, oh, we're not going to go through regular order because we want to jam a lot of BS in here that nobody's going to read. You know when they find out about that? They find out about that about 2 weeks into their campaign, because I guarantee you they may not have read the bill, but their opponents and the DNC will have read the bill, and everything they're voting yes on, they're going to pay for politically. Yeah. Every single thing.
And we're seeing that from members already in the House who voted for the bill, and now after the fact are hearing exactly what you're laying out, which is people saying, wait a minute, the bill, this massive bill, includes this. And they go, oh, well, I didn't like that. I guess I should have fully read the bill. And they're going to hear more about that, as you say, if this makes it through, from people in their districts whose hospitals are eliminated, who lost health care because of this. And Julie Sirkin, maybe people don't care in the abstract about the debt. Maybe that's not something that motivates them and brings them out to polls. But if you take away their health care, as this bill, according to the CBO, does to 11 million people, they sure notice that, and they know who voted for it and why they lost their health care. So, if history is our guide, Republicans do not cross Donald Trump in the end. They raise protests and they say they don't like something, but they eventually fall in line. Do you suspect, based on your reporting on Capitol Hill, that's what's going to happen here?
Absolutely. They are not going to back away from this bill because Elon Musk told them so. And it's a shift because a couple of months ago, everything that Elon Musk would put on X would really scare Republicans in Congress. But that was because he had the backing of the president, right? There's no pressure. David's absolutely right. Like the one that can come across Pennsylvania Avenue on Capitol Hill from Trump. And I think it's an important point that they have not done much legislatively in the House. At this point in 2017, at least the House already passed the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. Of course, it was blocked in the Senate, but for Republicans, they had a win on that issue. Now, of course, as you point out, Americans being kicked off their health care is not a win politically, but at least they were able to show their base that they did something that the president ultimately ran on. Of course, they weren't successful, but in this case, you really have a House that has not accomplished much. And remember, the reason it was put in this one big, beautiful bill is because there are such fragile majorities. The only way that you can get all of this through to fund the president's agenda, the border, the military, the energy, all of these things that he ran on that he now wants Congress to make do on, is by stuffing it all together and force people to swallow the things they don't like in addition to the things that they might like. And so now you have a situation, of course, where the House passed a bill that is probably going to get torn up by the Senate at least a little bit. There's no way they can send back even close to the same product because you have those moderates in the Senate. Even Josh Hawley, of course, is not a moderate, but they know what's at stake if they take away Medicaid from millions of people. They know that they are going to lose in the midterms in 2026. Trump might not be worried about that because he can say that historically that's what happens. The party in charge loses in the midterm elections, but the senators who are in their seats right now are worried about that.
Right.
And you have to think about the Republicans in the House just quickly here who voted for things that the Senate is going to change. And now their primary opponents, Democrats, are going to still be able to run on that and throw that in their faces in 2026. So this is a huge problem for them. Trump is not ideological in any way, as we know. He doesn't really care about that. He's going to make deals with whoever he needs to, even if it's Democrats at the end of the day.
So that's so important to point out. There's so many House Republicans, and this goes way back. There's an old saying that a lot of people watching may not remember, but there was an old saying you would go around when they were trying to get you as a member of the House to vote for something that the Senate would never vote for. You'd say, I'm not going to be BTU'd, which was Bill Clinton passed a bill that had a BTU tax that House members fought against but ended up voting for. And then it got stripped out of the Senate bill. So they voted for nothing, but every one of them had to defend that on the campaign trail. Why did you vote for an increase in energy tax? Why did you vote for this? Why did you vote for that? I'm sitting here most likely because a conservative Democrat who was in leadership voted to get the bill over to the Senate. And then after he saw what's happening, he said, I don't need this. I'm not going to be defending this on the campaign trail every day. And that's, of course, this is important. Wow. That's the reason why Republicans took the majority for the first time in 40 years because of a terrible bill, a terrible budget bill. And so this is a game changer, Mika. When you have somebody like Josh Hawley, he's looking at it, he's thinking, am I really going to take away health care from the reddest parts of my state so Silicon Valley monopolists and Silicon Valley billionaires can get an even bigger tax cut? Like, that's a game changer for any Democrat that's running. If you have a Republican willing to do that, that's fine. And by the way, the whole thing, we had to vote for it because it was an up or down. But no. Why don't you legislate? Why don't you do your job? Why don't you go through subcommittees? Why don't you go through committees? Why don't you do it the way Congress had done it for like 220 years? Where you actually go to Capitol Hill and work. You actually go to Capitol Hill and legislate. You actually don't let the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader and a couple of lobbyists sit behind closed doors. Locked, closed doors where 430 members are locked out. Think about that. They lock out like 430 members from this process, and 2, 3, 4 people write this bill. Yeah, go try selling that on the campaign trail and say, oh, I couldn't really do anything. It was an up or down vote. Yeah, it was an up or down vote because you're allowing it to be an up and down vote.
Yeah.
You're adding trillions to the debt because you're deciding you don't want to do your job. It's too hard. It's too hard to be a subcommittee member or a committee member and actually take this through the process. Too hard. So it's an up or down vote. It's ridiculous.
Big, beautiful bill has some ugly consequences.
Well, we'll see what happens.
NBC's Julie Sirkin, thank you so much for your reporting this morning. And still ahead.